Welcome students. In today's video session, we will study about excretion in animals. You must remember in last video we have studied about excretion in plants. Now we know the concept of excretion, why it is important. Today we will study about the same process, that is the excretion in animals. Students, a process related to excretion is osmoregulation. Osmo means fluid, sometimes it is used for water, and regulation means maintenance. Actually, osmoregulation is a process of maintenance of body fluids and salts present in body to regulate or to maintain the osmotic pressure of the body. It is done with the help of excretion in most of the organisms. In this process, the osmotic pressure of body is regulated or maintained by controlling the amount of water and salts in the body. If these salts or water is deficient in body, it is released back, and if it is excess in body, it is eliminated. That's why it is called osmoregulation. Different organisms have different methods of excretion and osmoregulation that we will study in detail. One more thing that must be cleared over here, egestion. We have studied in the part of nutrition. It is a step of nutrition. The last step, egestion, where the undigested and leftover food is eliminated out of the body. Egestion must not be confused with excretion. There is difference in excretion and egestion. In egestion, removal of leftover or undigested food takes place. The substance that we have taken from the surrounding, if it is of no use or if it is undigested, then it is again removed back in the surrounding. But in excretion, the removal of waste products of metabolic activities takes place. Means removal of substance which are produced inside the body during different metabolic activities. So there is a difference in excretion and egestion. Excretion takes place in different organisms with the help of different organs and different methods. If we talk of excretion in unicellular organism like amoeba, generally the substances to be excreted are diffused out through general body surface. Means only by the process of simple diffusion the waste products are eliminated from the body. In amoeba, a special structure called contractile vacuole is present. Contractile vacuole can be regarded as an osmoregulatory organelle which performs the function of osmoregulation. It collects water and waste materials and some salts. It just collects these substances and swells up. Finally, it reaches the surface and there it bursts down. Contractile vacuole collects substances, swells up, reaches the surface of the amoeba, and there it bursts, releasing all the waste products in the surrounding medium. So it releases all its content in the outside and hence osmoregulation is done. Osmoregulation is required in freshwater organisms mainly as outside fresh water has a tendency to enter their bodies due to high internal osmotic concentration that we have studied in osmosis. Remember, movement of substances, or you can say movement of water from the area of higher concentration to lower concentration. Since in the fresh water the concentration of substances dissolved is low as compared to organism's body, in the organism present in fresh water, they need to osmoregulate their body mainly. When we talk of excretion in multicellular organisms, the platyhelminthes means the flatworms are the first organism where a specific excretory organ appears. In other organisms lower than platyhelminthes like sponges and coelenterate, their special organs are not present. Likewise, other organisms, annelids have nephridia, insects have Malpighian tubules. So these other organisms, different organisms have different excretory organs. Human excretory system. In human beings, mainly excretion takes place through a urinary system with the help of kidneys. Kidney is the main excretory organs in humans. Some accessory excretory organs of vertebrates, including human beings, are skin, lungs, liver, and large intestine also. But the main function of excretion takes place with the help of kidney. Along with kidney, in human excretory system, there is a pair of ureters, this structure, a tubular structure, a urinary bladder, a bag-like, sac-like structure, and a urethra. Kidneys are a pair of solid bean-shaped structure. These are dark red-brown in color, and these are present in the lower abdominal cavity, one on the each side of the body. Left kidneys are at slightly higher level than the right one. Each kidney has a convexity on the outer side and concavity on the inner side, which gives it a bean shape. The concave side has a fissure or hilum for entry of several tubes. These tubes are renal artery, renal vein, and an exit for ureter. Renal vein carries deoxygenated blood. Renal vein carry deoxygenated blood from which waste products have been removed. Renal artery carries oxygenated blood in which waste materials are present and which are to be removed. Structural and functional unit of kidneys, or you can say filtration unit of kidneys, are called nephrons. Each kidney contains millions of nephrons. We will study structure of nephron also. From the kidney, the substances, the waste materials gets filtered out and the purified blood then again goes back to the rest body part. The waste material, the filtered out waste material then enters the ureter. Ureter are a pair of narrow tubes about 30 meter long. Each ureter arises from hilum part of the kidney and moves downward and opens into urinary bladder. Ureter carry urine, that is the waste filtered out from kidney, to urinary bladder. The process of movement of urine into ureter occurs through the process of peristalsis. We have studied about this peristalsis in our digestive system also. It is a rhythmic contracting relaxing movement of muscles which helps the substances to move. Urine now gets collected in urinary bladder. It is a almost pear-shaped sac-like a structure present in the very lower pelvic part of abdomen. It stores urine brought by the two ureters. It can store up to 300 to 800 ml of urine. From here, urine enters the urethra. It is a tube that takes urine from urinary bladder to outside, and by that process the entire excretion takes place and filtered waste material is eliminated from the body. Structure of nephron. Nephron, as I stated earlier, are the functional and structural unit of kidneys. About 1 million of nephron occurs in each kidney, and these actually filters the waste material. So these are the filtration unit of kidneys also. A nephron has two parts. This upper part is called Malpighian body, and this lower part is called renal tubule. This part is called Malpighian body and this is called renal tubule. Malpighian body consists of a cup-shaped structure, blind cup-shaped structure called Bowman's capsule. This is a cup-shaped structure which is named as Bowman's capsule. Inside the Bowman's capsule, a bunch of fine blood vessels or capillaries, you can say, is present. It is a bunch of capillaries present, and this ball of capillaries is called glomerulus. Glomerulus and Bowman's capsule together forms Malpighian body. Glomerulus develops from an afferent arteriole. Afferent artery means the branch of renal artery which is taking blood which is to be filtered. After filtration in glomerulus, that is the tuft of network, the bunch of glomerulus, there rises another capillary called efferent arteriole. It is a part of renal vein. It means the blood to be filtered, which here for reference we can say impure blood or unfiltered blood. Unfiltered blood enters inside glomerulus through afferent arteriole, and after filtration it leaves the Bowman's capsule, or you can say nephron, through efferent arteriole or joins the renal vein. The diameter of efferent arteriole is less than that of afferent arteriole. As a result, blood comes under pressure in the glomerulus. Blood comes under pressure, and due to that pressure, the waste materials gets filtered out. It functions as filtration unit. After filtration, the waste products gets accumulated in this Bowman's capsule. One Bowman's capsule accommodates one glomerulus, and it is lined by flat cells which helps in filtration of substances and accommodation of those filtered waste materials in this capsule. So now the waste material from renal artery, after passing through this tuft of capillaries called glomerulus, waste materials are deposited in the Bowman's capsule, and the filtered blood leaves the nephron through the renal vein or efferent arteriole. Then it just joins the renal vein and goes out of the kidney. This part, the renal tubular part, again has three parts. The part which is twisted after Bowman's capsule is called proximal convoluted tubule or PCT. After this, the tube forms a U-shaped structure. This U-shaped structure is called loop of Henle or Henle's loop, and then again a twisted part called distal convoluted tubule or DCT. DCT or distal convoluted tubule opens into a collecting tube. Collecting tube forms pyramids. Various openings are there in collecting tubes which receives filtered waste materials from different nephrons. Finally, the collecting tube opens into pelvis. So this is the structure of nephron. A quick revision. A cup-shaped structure called Bowman's capsule. Inside that, a tuft of capillaries called glomerulus. Inside the glomerulus, unfiltered blood comes under high pressure, and due to that high pressure, the waste materials are filtered out into Bowman's capsule. Bowman's capsule opens into a PCT, that is proximal convoluted tubule, then a U-shaped tube called loop of Henle, then again a twisted DCT or distal convoluted tubule, and finally in a collecting duct. Mechanism of urine formation. Students, I have drawn a less complicated structure of nephron. Actually, this is not the nephron present in the human beings. It is a less complicated structure so that you can understand the mechanism. The PCT, the DCT are much more twisted, but I have drawn a less twisted structure so that you can understand the mechanism very well. Now, mechanism of urine formation involves actually 4 steps. These 4 parts of the entire process are glomerular filtration, that is filtration of waste material by that tuft of capillaries, glomerular. Then is selective reabsorption. Some useful substances which are filtered out are reabsorbed back in the body. Next is secretion. If some waste products are still present in the blood, it is secreted out. And then finally is the concentration. Let's discuss it one by one. The very first is filtration. Blood flows in glomerulus under high pressure, and as a result, it filters. This process is called ultrafiltration. The waste materials are just expelled out of the capillaries and gets deposited in this Bowman's capsule. Waste materials are just present in this Bowman's capsule. This process is called ultrafiltration or glomerular filtration. The waste material deposited over here is called glomerular filtrate. Its volume is 125 ml per minute. That is, you can consider it as 180 liters per day. Obviously, this high amount of fluid cannot be eliminated from the body, and now the next step is there called reabsorption. The filtrate, that the glomerular filtrate is called primary urine, and it now passes through that PCT, that proximal convoluted tubule. Here, reabsorption of all useful substances takes place. These substances are glucose, amino acids, vitamin C, calcium, potassium, sodium, chlorine, bicarbonates, and a lot of water. It all these substances gets reabsorbed in the area of PCT. Reabsorption means the substances which are present here are again given back or released out. This takes place in the area of PCT. A little reabsorption, you can say selective reabsorption of selective substances occurs in the area of DCT also. The amount of water absorption depends upon amount of excess water present in body fluid. How much excess water is present decides what amount of water is to be reabsorbed. The third part is called tubular secretion. It occurs mostly in this part, that is called DCT, distal convoluted tubule. What happens over here? If some substances by mistake are present in the filtered blood, cannot be filtered, these are secreted in this waste products, that is in urine. It mainly takes place in DCT. Remember, reabsorption mainly takes place in PCT, secretion mainly takes place in DCT. However, small amount of reabsorption takes place in DCT and small amount of secretion takes place in PCT also. Extra salts, sodium ion, H plus are also secreted in urinary tubule to maintain proper concentration and pH of urine. Urea, uric acid, creatinine, extra salts, these substances if present in blood, these are secreted back in the urine. The fourth step is concentration of the urine. Almost 75% of water content is reabsorbed in the region of PCT. About 10% of water passes out of the filtrate in the area of loop of Henle. Here what happens? Urine becomes concentrated and the amount of amount of water is regulated. Some hormones such as vasopressin is also secreted over here to dilute urination. So there are 4 steps of urine formation: filtration, reabsorption, secretion and concentration. Just to remind once, filtration takes place in the area of Malpighian tubule. Here, due to high pressure, the waste material gets filtered out inside the Bowman's capsule and the waste is collected over here. Then it enters inside the tubule, renal tubule, it enters inside the PCT. There reabsorption of useful substance takes place. Water enters inside the loop of Henle where concentration is corrected. Osmotic pressure and osmotic maintenance of body fluids takes place, and then it enters inside the DCT where substances if present in blood, waste substances, these are secreted inside the blood, inside the waste. Finally, the waste enters inside the collecting tubule. In that collecting tubule, the waste material from different nephrons join over there. Finally, this waste material, this waste filtrate is called urine, and this urine is then gets deposited in urinary bladder. From there it is released outside the body. Urine finally formed in collecting duct is a transparent fluid it has a pale yellow color due to presence of urochrome. Urine contains 96% of water, 2.5% organic substances, and about 1.5% inorganic salts. Now, functions of excretory system. Following are the functions of excretory system. The first function obviously is the waste excretion. Excretion of nitrogenous substances is the major function of human excretory system. Excretory system also takes part in expelling toxic chemical that happen to enter inside the body due to various channels. These substances are also eliminated with the help of excretory system. Excretory system maintains water balance in the body by producing dilute urine when amount of water is high and concentrated urine when the amount of water is less in the body. It also removes excess materials, water soluble materials which are excess in amount inside the body, such as vitamins, drugs and other substances. Excretory system regulates the salt content in the body by removing it out with along with the urine. It helps in maintenance of pH also, and it helps in regulation of blood pressure by controlling the fluid content. It regulates the blood pressure also. Kidney is a very important organ. In some persons, kidneys are damaged due to various reasons. If a single kidney is damaged, the second kidney, the other kidney, can carry the function. But if both the kidneys are damaged, a new kidney is to be grafted. Till the time it is not done, an artificial process of excretion is done with the help of hemodialysis, that is blood dialysis, or we can call it artificial kidney. Artificial kidney or hemodialysis is a device which remove waste materials, nitrogenous waste excretory products from blood in case of temporary dysfunction or in case of permanent failure till the time new kidneys are not grafted. The artificial kidney or dialysis machine consists of a number of semi-permeable tubes which are present in a tank. The tank has a fluid having same osmotic concentration as that of blood. The process takes place over there of diffusion, and nitrogenous waste products, phosphates and sulfates are excluded from the body. So this is the all about human excretory system. Now it's time for assignment. I'm just providing you some questions. You try to answer these questions. Write down the answers in your copy. All the answers you will get in the video itself. So watch the video and write down the answers. Following are the questions. The first question, define osmoregulation. Second question, name the parts of human excretory system. Here you have to only write down the name of the different organs present in human excretory system. The third question, draw a well-labeled diagram of nephron. Next, mention some functions of kidneys or excretory system. And the last question is, name steps involved in urine formation. Different steps which are involved in the formation of urine, you have to name those. So write down the answer of all these questions. Thank you.